Becoming the Problem: Race, Power, and the Massacres America Buried. For much of American history, racial conflict was framed as a Black problem, focusing on alleged deficiencies within Black communities and urging conformity to white cultural norms as the remedy. The 1968 Kerner Commission warned that the nation was moving towards two separate societies. Yet, even that major report described the symptoms more than the structures that created them. Scholars later noted that what was missing was an honest account of white rage, the policing of Black aspiration, and the erasure of Black women's experiences. This documentary examines four massacres to show how rumor, repression, and the fear of Black advancement repeatedly fueled organized violence. In early May 1866, a dispute began when recently discharged Black veterans refused an order from white police to clear the street. A shot was fired, rumors spread quickly, and white mobs, encouraged by local officials, swept into South Memphis. For 3 days, they beat, robbed, raped, and killed Black residents, burning more than 90 homes and destroying every Black church and school. Survivors later testified to Congress about children shot while fleeing burning houses and patients attacked inside the Freedmen's Hospital. Authorities offered little protection, many officers joined the mobs, and white leaders blamed Black people for the violence. In reality, it was a coordinated effort to crush Black freedom and political power at the start of Reconstruction. In the 1890s, Wilmington, North Carolina was home to one of the most successful Black communities in the South. Black business owners ran three Black owned banks, families owned their homes, and a thriving Black newspaper helped shape public debate. Black residents also held real political power. Their votes helped elect a rare biracial fusion government, including Black aldermen, health inspectors, and other officials, a direct challenge to the racial order white leaders believed they were entitled to control. But powerful white businessmen, politicians, and newspaper editors refused to accept what they call Negro rule. In November 1898, they organized a coup. White supremacist militias, known as the Red Shirts, burned down the Black newspaper, forced the elected government to resign, put in place their own mayor, and began attacking Black residents in the streets. Estimates of the death toll range from dozens to hundreds, and more than 2,000 Black residents fled the city in terror. Black businesses collapsed, families lost their homes, and Wilmington, once a model of Black prosperity, was turned into a warning across the South. Within a few years, poll taxes, literacy tests, and grandfather clauses stripped nearly all Black men in North Carolina of the vote. Wilmington would not elect another Black official until 1972. By 1906, Atlanta had a growing Black middle class of professionals, educators, and business owners whose success challenged the city's racial order. This progress fueled white resentment, especially as competition for jobs, contracts, and political influence increased. In this climate, local newspapers began printing unverified stories claiming Black men had assaulted white women, stirring fear and giving white mobs the excuse they were looking for. On September 22nd, white men poured into the streets, attacking Black people on sight, pulling riders off streetcars, and looting Black owned businesses. Atlanta's mayor blamed Black residents rather than the attackers, and law enforcement either stood aside or joined in. For 4 days, white mobs terrorized Black neighborhoods, while Black residents who tried to defend themselves were disarmed and arrested. At least 27 people were killed and many more injured. Calling it a race riot hid the deeper truth. This was organized backlash against Black prosperity, aimed at keeping political and economic power in white hands and punishing a community whose success threatened the status quo. On September 30th, 1919, nearly 100 Black sharecroppers met in Phillips County, Arkansas, to organize for fairer cotton prices through the Progressive Farmers and Household Union. Their efforts and the hiring of a white attorney angered white landowners who saw black labor organizing as a direct threat to their power. Armed guards stood outside the church, and when white railroad employees tried to intrude, a shootout erupted, killing two white men. Within hours, white mobs descended on Elaine, burning homes and businesses and attacking black residents as families fled into the fields and in the woods. Federal troops later claimed only two black people were killed, but witnesses reported troop involvement, and historians now estimate more than 200 black residents were massacred. When the violence ended, 67 black survivors were arrested and charged, while no white attackers faced prosecution. 12 black union members received a death sentence until the NAACP and attorney Scipio Africanus Jones won reversals. Years later, Moore v. Dempsey confirmed the denial of due process that had helped conceal one of the deadliest racial massacres in American history. Each one of these massacres did more than take lives. They wiped out black wealth at the very moment it was being built. Homes, businesses, banks, and farms were destroyed in places like Memphis, Wilmington, Atlanta, Elaine, Tulsa, Springfield, and Rosewood, forcing families who had saved and invested to start over with nothing. The pattern is undeniable. Whenever black communities gained ground, organizing for fair wages, voting, building businesses, or expanding schools, white mobs responded with violence, blaming black people as the problem and enforcing compliance through neglect or outright force. This repeated destruction, combined with Jim Crow laws, redlining, and discriminatory economic policy, prevented black families from passing down wealth while white wealth steadily grew. The impact is visible today. In 2013, white median household wealth exceeded 113,000, while black wealth sat at roughly 1,700, and projections show the gap widening further, with black household wealth expected to fall by nearly 30%. Understanding this disparity means recognizing that racial violence didn't just target individuals, it targeted Black prosperity itself. Rejecting the Black problem narrative makes clear where responsibility lies and why policy, policing, investment, and historical memory must work together to prevent the rise of two societies once again.
Through the struggle, we found our sound. We're still here, and we're glory bound. Doors slammed shut on 1,000 dreams. Still, we build bridges from broken beams. Laughed in the darkness, danced in the rain. Loved through the lashes, prayed through the pain. Now lift your eyes to a sky turned gold. Let stories of strength through your spirit unfold.